What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Yappin podcast, episode number 1. I'm your host, Rafa, and let's start yapping. Let's start with Florida State head coach Mike Norvell. He's got to be the biggest underachiever this year so far. I mean, the man is 1-4. They've looked terrible, but his play calling has been atrocious. Let's look at this game on Saturday at SMU, and he's the play caller, which head coach, play caller, you've been terrible. Top to bottom, all the way around. Besides the fact that the team can't tackle, you can't play offense either. You went undefeated last year. You cried. You lost to Georgia by a gazillion points. And now you open the year and you lose to Georgia Tech. You lose at home to BC. You lost to Memphis. You lost to SMU. You're 1-4. And the blame, I didn't believe that you could get fired this fast. But my co-host Eddie on the Two Nobodies, or I'm his co-host actually, on the Two Nobodies podcast, he's been preaching this before the season started. And we all know that Deion will end up there at some point. The stock doesn't get any higher for Deion after this last week, going on the road as a 14-point underdog, which shouldn't have been that. Central Florida has KJ Jefferson, who couldn't play football at Arkansas. And he went to Central Florida. They made him a 14-point favorite at home. He didn't show up. Against a team that doesn't play very much defense. Colorado looked like a top 15 team in the country on Saturday. So all thanks to Deion. His stock is rising. Norvell's stock is falling. Someone has to be talking to Deion and talking about, hey, let's look at the Florida State gig. It's got to be coming. People got to be talking over there. And Norvell, it's a perfect time to let him go. Like, he can't blame anyone by himself. Saturday, They get a blocked field goal. They're down 14-7 at SMU. Block the field goal. DJ drives the field. First and goal from the 9.5-yard line. First play is an incomplete. Second play, they give it to the back. He gets about 5. On third down, you run a quarterback draw. Mike Norvell, you ran a quarterback draw with a man that's averaging negative yards per rush attempt this season? Are you out of your mind? And then, not only did you double down, you did it again. On fourth down, instead of kicking the field goal, getting some positivity for your team, you ran the same exact play again with a man who we've seen for the last 5 years, inability to run the ball. He ran the ball well in 2022, and he still averaged 3.8 yards a rush. For a college quarterback, that feels Tom Brady-esque, to be honest with you. Mike Norvell, you are the problem at Florida State. You deserve to be fired, and you should not be upset at all. And Deion, after this weekend, my friend, you deserve that job. Will you have it? It's yours if you want it. You know it is. So keep an eye out on Florida State. Mike Norvell, you should step down. Your play calling is so bad, my friend. DJ wasn't this bad last year. How did he get worse? This man got worse under your coaching. And you know what? I tried to defend you a couple weeks ago, and there's no defending you. Your play calling is bad, your coaching is bad, and obviously you have no leadership. Nobody wants to play defense on that team. The teams you've lost to, Florida State's history, they would have never lost. It's embarrassing for that program to go from the height of college football to now you're down at the barrel. You don't deserve to be an ACC team. Mike Norvell, you don't deserve to be an ACC coach. Speaking of the ACC, Friday night, we had an amazing game. Miami pulling out the victory against Virginia Tech. We're all in shock. Was it a catch? It wasn't a catch. It was. The ball was bobbled, etc. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion. I was watching the game. I'm cheering for Miami, obviously. I'm a Ken Ward fan, and I love Miami. The play on the field was called a catch. It was called a catch. On the field, called a catch. You didn't have enough evidence to overturn it. In my opinion, I saw the ball bobbling. But do they have that many camera angles? Who knows? The player was out of bounds. Was he not out of bounds? Did he touch it? Was the ball moving? At the end of the day, they made the correct call from what it seems to be. But in reality, it wasn't the correct call because everyone, at least who was watching it with me and via our group chat, and many group chats out there, I'm sure, all probably thought the same thing. Not enough evidence. But it was overturned. Miami's still undefeated. Still had a chance at the top 4 seed. And I think Virginia Tech got screwed. Although, reality, we know he didn't catch the ball. But, and this leads to my issue with college, the coaching. And in the NFL, we see it as well. When you have a lead, put the pedal to the metal. Take just last night, Alabama, Georgia. The game is completely out of hand. You're watching that game, you feel like Alabama should have 4, 5, 6 interceptions. And you lay off of that. And you let Georgia right back in the game. Georgia came back and took the lead at the end of that game. If Milroe wasn't phenomenal, they lose that game. And then what are you telling your kids afterwards? Fuck, you know what? I didn't deserve to get this job is what you would have been saying. You don't let off. We had the Ravens in Dallas 2 weeks ago, up 28-6. Game at the end of the day, Dallas is one stop away from getting the ball, and Baltimore was not going to stop them. You slow down, and it's a respect factor. I don't want to beat them by 30, 40, 50, whatever it is. At this day and age, you better start beating them because the players are too good, and they will come back in a hurry. No lead is safe in football anymore. We see it week after week after week. That game, Georgia, Alabama, I mean, it could have been the greatest comeback that never was. And it possibly is because they took that lead late. Beck was good for a quarter and a half, terrible for 2.5, and really terrible. And Alabama, when you watched the first 2.5 quarters, you thought Alabama's the best team in the country by a landslide. They still, at the end of the game, you still thought they were the best team in the country, but not by a landslide because you didn't feel it that way, at least not for me. That third quarter, I felt that they were the best team in the land and nobody can touch them. But if they
what's your opinion on Deboer after this game?
I thought the moment got too big for him, is what my initial thought was. I said, you know what? He went in a big lead, and then what happened? What happened? You lost focus. And you cannot lose focus against a team like Georgia. You can do that against Middle Tennessee State, Mississippi State, Texas A&M. You can't do that against Georgia. You can't do that against Ole Miss, Texas, Ohio State. You can't do that. And when you're playing the number one team in the land for the last 3 or 4 seasons, if we take it as a whole, right, it's probably the number 1 or number 2 program, probably number 1 in the country. And you cannot let up. They have 5-star talent just like you do, all over the place. And all they need is an inch. And they got an inch, and they took another one, and another one, and all of a sudden, the game's 36-33. And you're down. That is a big growing moment. And then coming back and winning the game, you know what? It might have taught us players, you know what? Maybe this guy can really, maybe all the other guys around it, some boosters or whatever. Maybe this is the guy who can lead us and lead us in the future here. Like, not like Nick Saban, and may never see that again. But you're in a great spot. Let them in a great direction. But you guys cannot. I think these head coaches lose focus. They start trying. We're gonna force this and force that. Stick to the game plan until the game is over. Okay, I'm not talking about you're throwing the ball with 2.5 minutes left, up 14. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about if you're up 21 or 28 and you're halfway through the third quarter, don't let up. Extend the lead to 35 if you can. Extend it to 28 to 35 to 42. Start the fourth quarter up 35. Fuck it. That lead you're not going to blow. And we see it week after week after week. Like tonight, if you're watching the Ravens game, the game's 21-3 going into halftime. Come out of halftime, Buffalo gets a Ravens punt. Buffalo gets a score. It's 21-10. Ravens punt again. Buffalo's now got the ball, making plays. You're with it. They had an amazing play on defense to get a turnover and force a fumble off Josh Allen. But if they don't make that play and Josh Allen scores, you almost had the momentum completely flipped back. It's losing focus. The Ravens do it week after week, and we see it in college football week after week after week after week. Coaching has got to be better. They have to be more consistent. You need to finish. And they're not finishing. They think the game's over in the third quarter. And when you get to that point, fourth quarter starts. Look at Michigan. Michigan's up 24-3. Game ends 27-24. What was going on? Those games there at the end. Oh, well, that builds character to play tight games. That's not fucking true. When you're up 24-3 and you let the other team in, that's different. That's not, oh, you won a close game. That wasn't that. You were up 24-3, you blew a lead. Okay, you were up whatever the fuck it was on Georgia, 33-7 or 20, whatever it was. It was 25 plus points. And you let them come back and take the lead. What built on there was Jalen Milroe like, all right, this is the Heisman right here, right now. This is the guy. He made a play when he needed it, and a bunch of them. And he lost the lead, not by his fault. I'm almost sure of it. Play calling, and it's basically just coaching. When you blow a big lead, it's coaching. When you lose a close game, it's usually coaching. So coaches in the NFL and in college football need to finish the job. Finish your game plan. The game's not over in the third quarter. 60 minutes. Doesn't matter how many you're up by. Finish the game. We see plenty of comebacks week after week after week after week. And it was amazing comeback by Georgia that wasn't. That wasn't. So, I mean, Georgia at the end of that.
So, what's your opinion on Milroe? Has he now stepped into that Heisman picture? That definitely felt like a Heisman type of game for me.
Oh, he's the Heisman right there. I mean, Milroe right now, he's got to be the favorite to win the Heisman. And Cam Ward, I think, took a step back. I mean, you saw Cam Ward just kind of disappear for 3 or 4 drives. Now, what was that so much game planning? What was that? I mean, he had some really bad throws. I mean, you're going in 14-7, 3rd and goal from the 3. All of a sudden, you throw an interception. You go into halftime down now, 24-17. You were 3 yards away from putting this thing at 21-7 in that second to begin the second quarter. So, and that right there for Cam Ward, those are moments where it's like, he's great, but how great is he? Right? And Milroe showed you he's great. And in a tight, he was great. He came back. He literally had a ginormous lead. The team gave it up, and then he made a play to win the game. That's
in a 4-week span or in a 5-week span, they have Tennessee back-to-back, Tennessee, Missouri, LSU. Then they play Mercer and then Oklahoma. So he has a bunch of Heisman opportunities for sure.
Oh, he's got a ton of Heisman opportunities, and Tennessee's a tough task. LSU, for me, is the overrated SEC team, in my opinion. And I think, no, 100%. It's a rivalry game, 100%. It's probably, if it's in LSU, it's probably at night, under the lights, who knows. And so that's always a tough matchup. And Missouri, to me, is overrated as well. So, and Oklahoma, ain't that great. The Tennessee matchup's going to be huge. But at the end of the day, all those teams are ranked, right? All those teams are ranked. He's going to have to shine in those games, and he will. And he will. He shined against the best team in the land, or one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the land, and he shined. And he shined bright like a diamond, like Rihanna says. So that man, for right now, he put the staple on the Heisman, and as of today, in my opinion, I think it's his to lose. I don't think anyone else can even compete with what he did on Saturday night. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. And remember, this podcast is brought to you by @2Nobodies Podcast on YouTube, @2Nobodies Podcast on TikTok, and @the2Nobodies with the mic on Instagram, live on Wednesday nights on YouTube. Check us out. Welcome back to the Yappin Podcast. As LeBron James begins to embark on his 22nd season in the NBA, 20 of which in a row, by the way, have resulted in an all-star team for him. Why is he considered not the greatest player of all time? When we look at the stats, he's number 1 in points. He's 4th in assists. Is it his 4-6 finals record? Is it his all-star teammates, supposedly? If we look at his roster, LeBron James in his 21 years as an NBA player, 20 of which are all-stars. In those 21 seasons, he's only played with a teammate in the all-star game. That means a teammate of his joining the all-star team the same year as him only 10 times. On 10 of 21 seasons. And 4 of those were with Miami. Yes, both Bosch and Wade were both all-stars for those 4 seasons. Now, when we look at it, Bosch, by the way, was never an All-NBA player. He was a one-time second-team All-NBA in 2008 with the Raptors. So when he came with Miami, he was not an All-NBA player. Okay, and people think, well, he was a big star. He was a max player. At this point, we know what max players really are. Okay, Timothy Mozgov might have been a max player at one point. So let's not get all hung up on max players. By the way, Chris Bosh in that Game 7 had 0 points. Let's not forget that Game 6, Ray Allen hit the 3. Ray Allen had 9 points. LeBron had a triple-double in that game. Ray Allen, yes, he needed to make the shot. Steve Kerr needed to make a shot for Michael Jordan. Bill Wennington needed to make a shot for Michael Jordan. Luke Longley did as well, and so did John Paxson. Guys need to make shots. How do they get there? They didn't get there on Steve Kerr's back. They didn't get there on Ray Allen's back. They got there on Michael Jordan and LeBron James's back. Now, when we sit and we say, well, Jordan won 6 titles. Yes, Jordan won 6 titles. He never lost in the finals. Well, John Havlicek never lost either, and when he retired, he was 3rd all-time in points. But we're not going to say John Havlicek is the greatest player of all time ever. At any moment did we say that. I'm not saying John Havlicek is better than Michael Jordan. But he was 8-0, 3rd all-time in scoring when he retired. And he won 1 finals MVP because most of his titles came before that was an award in 1969. So we're comparing. People can say, well, it's eras. Well, John Havlicek's era wasn't as great as Michael Jordan's era. Well, in my opinion, Michael Jordan's era isn't even close to LeBron's era because guys can shoot the 3 and they can shoot from 25 and 30 feet away sometimes. The guys are much faster, stronger, and more skilled than we've ever seen before. When you watch tape on Michael Jordan, he was a great player, but he couldn't shoot the ball from the outside very much. 32% career three-point shooter. LeBron beats him by like 3%. Okay? LeBron James passed Michael Jordan with less total shots. In a longer period of time, yes. LeBron James has played for 21 years, but he's been an all-star for 20. He's not Vince Carter in year 21, and he's not going to be Vince Carter in year 22. He's coming off a season where he averaged 25, 7, and 8. Michael Jordan could never. People want to discredit and forget about the Wizards' Michael Jordan. We forgot about it. So we're going to forget about the Wizards' Michael Jordan. We're going to forget about the Michael Jordan before Scottie Pippen, who was 1-9 in the playoffs. Not in playoff series. No. 1-9, he won 1 game. He was 1-9 before Scottie Pippen showed up. So that Michael Jordan never beat the best teams in his era. Like people say, well, his era was tougher. Who was tough? The Pistons? He beat them once. And he beat them once after they went to 3 straight finals and won back-to-back finals. After that, the Pistons the next season were a 5 seed, and after that, never sniffed a seed lower than 7. He never beat the Celtics. Ever. Not one time in the playoffs. He scored 63, lost the game. Michael Jordan was he was a superior scorer compared to LeBron James. It's not even close. The difference with LeBron James is that he has 40,000 points, number 1. Number 2, he's 4th all-time in assists. There is not one player in the NBA all-time that is in the top 15 in scoring and in the top 30 in assists. The next closest player is Kobe Bryant, and he's 32nd on the assist total. No one will ever come close to LeBron James as an NBA basketball player. Killer instinct, he doesn't have what Jordan has. He doesn't have what Kobe has. But he has more clutch shots made in the playoffs than both. He has a better shooting percentage in clutch moments than both. He has more assists, more rebounds, more steals, more blocks, and more points than both of them in the playoffs. He went to 8 straight NBA finals, with most of the time one All-Star on the team, with the exception of the Miami Heat team that went to 4 straight finals. He then, after that, went to 4 straight finals with the Cavs. So when we look at LeBron James, he was 4-6 in the finals. He was only favored 4 times out of the 10. He didn't win every time he was favored, but he didn't lose every time he was an underdog. He won 4 finals with 4 finals MVP. For those of you who want to say, well, Kobe is in the talk, Kobe's not in the conversation. He won 5 finals with 2 finals MVP. Shaq was the best player on the team. That's why he has 3 NBA Finals MVPs. So for those of you who love Kobe, he was great, but he's not even in this conversation. Guys who played in the NBA, they can say whatever they want. You can watch it. And when you watch LeBron James, he makes the correct basketball play. He understands the game. You talk to players, they will literally tell you he knew the play we were running while we were out there. He understands where every player is on the court at every moment. You think Michael Jordan cared about that? No. Michael Jordan was an elite scorer. That's what he did. He scored the basketball. That was his job, to score the basketball and win. Guess when he won? Like I said, when the Pistons and the Celtics were done. That was it. The East was so bad when he retired for a year and a half, the West won both titles, and it wasn't even close. That's how bad the East really was when Michael Jordan was elite. When he was not elite and could not get to even an Eastern Conference Finals, that's when the Pistons and the Celtics were rolling. He never beat Magic and Kareem. He only beat Magic with a hurt roster and Vlade Divac. And like I said, he beat the Pistons when they were done. So Michael Jordan is great, and he could be the greatest, but LeBron James is the best basketball player to ever touch a basketball. He is the most skilled, he's the most talented, and it's not even close. So all you 50-year-olds and 55-year-olds who think that Michael Jordan is the greatest, go back, pick 10 random games because you didn't watch them. That's the other thing. You can say you watched them, you didn't. The only thing you might have watched was NBA on NBC on Sundays, where he maybe played the Pistons, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Pacers, and you might have watched one game, and then you watched them in the playoffs. You didn't watch him on a random February 15th of 1991 or 92 or on a random day of any month because you didn't have access to watch the games unless you were in Chicago. So don't sit here and tell me that you watched him play. You watched a fragment of him play. Now you have access to watch NBA League Pass and you can watch every game on every night. And pick a random night and watch LeBron James play basketball. And he plays basketball and executes basketball plays the way they're supposed to be. That's the reason that he is, in my opinion, the best basketball player of all time. So enjoy LeBron James while you have him, because when the greatness is gone, we're never going to see another LeBron James again.
So we live in LA, as people may not know on this podcast. Can you speak to the Kobe kind of cult that is in LA? Like, what is that like? What is that like for people that don't live in LA? Like, can you explain it?
So the Kobe cult, and so people understand, like, listen, I've lived in LA all my life. My favorite player growing up was Michael Jordan. The first time I ever went to a basketball game was Lakers Bulls in 1989 at the Forum. I hated the Lakers and I loved Michael Jordan. And when Jordan kind of left the baseball, my favorite player then became Shaq. And Shaq came to LA and I was still a Shaq fan, but I always hated the Lakers. I watched Kobe Bryant every night because I wanted to see him lose. So when these Kobe fans will sit here and tell me, oh, Kobe did this and that. Listen, I watched Kobe probably more than you. And I can tell you that before he hit that game winner, that's because he missed 3 more before that. Kobe wasn't scared to shoot. Kobe was an absolute assassin. The problem was that Kobe shot 6 times or 5 times or 4 times before he hit that shot. He had multiple opportunities. I don't deny Kobe's greatness. He's just not in the conversation. And these guys that grew up in LA that love the Lakers, they can never unsee that. Like, yes, oh no, it's because this mentality, Mamba mentality, or whatever the fuck they call it. Wonderful. Great. Your last 3 seasons were trash. Horrible. Horrendous. Irrelevant. That's the thing. LeBron James, for 8 years, was in the NBA Finals. When LeBron James left the team was done. Done. Like, it's over. Like, we're getting the first round pick. We're getting the number 1 overall pick. Kyrie Irving. That's who they ended up getting the first time he left. Might have been Anthony Bennett the second time. Who I don't remember exactly. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't. But no, it wasn't. It was earlier. But it doesn't matter. They're getting top picks. When he left Miami, Bosch got hurt. Wade couldn't lead. Those knees couldn't hold up. The Kobe cult is because the guys who believe that Kobe is the best player are Laker fans between the ages of maybe 27, maybe 26 to about 43. Like that, those are the ones they saw. But they forget everything else. Like when Kobe became the best player on the team, Shaq was gone. He was never the best player on the team with Shaq. Like those finals, those playoff runs don't happen without Shaq. Oh, well, they don't happen without Kobe. Yeah, but Shaq's the one with the finals MVPs. It wasn't Kobe at that time. So, for me, when I see Kobe, I think he's the fifth or sixth best player. Like, that's my opinion. Do I think Kobe was more skilled offensively than Michael Jordan? 100%. 100%. Was he skilled more offensively than LeBron James? 1,000% more skilled than LeBron James. Offensively, no doubt about it. The only thing is that LeBron James has 40,000 points and 11,000 assists. That's the difference. LeBron is an all-around NBA player. Okay, Kobe Bryant could not rebound. He could not pass the ball. He didn't want to pass the ball. Let me rephrase that. He didn't want to pass the ball. Same thing for Jordan. Well, LeBron is 6'7" and blah, 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 or 6'9" or whatever it is. Well, imagine at that size, being that skilled, being able to play above the rim on defense. Oh, he wasn't that good. Hey, well, go ask the Warriors about that block. So the Kobe cult is insane. It's a homer thing. It's, this guy doesn't know ball. Look at it, he's a big... Listen, I watched more basketball than you ever have. Okay? And I'm telling you, that's my opinion. My opinion only. I pay a motherfucker to have this show. So I can have my opinion. And my opinion, Kobe Bryant could... By the way, if we look at the head-to-head record between LeBron and Kobe, it's not even close. And Kobe had Paul Gasol for a long time. LeBron James, I just told you, LeBron James played 21 seasons. Only 10 seasons he had an All-Star. You think that Jonas Ilgauskas was an All-Star more than once with LeBron? No. How about Mo Williams? One time. Kyrie Irving? One time. Maybe twice. But Kevin Love, only once, and not the same year with Kyrie. Remember the year Kyrie left in 2018 to Boston and he was crying because he didn't want to play with LeBron? LeBron still made the finals. Still beat Kyrie and the Celtics, although Kyrie was hurt. LeBron still made the finals. LeBron is so good that they has put together the greatest team ever to beat him. And I will take the 2017-18 Warriors over any team you put together ever. Oh, who's going to guard Jordan? Who's going to guard Steph Curry and Kevin Durant? The physicalness does not work now because now players are skilled. So there's nobody out there who's really physical because guys can actually play the game. But back to the Kobe cult. Get over it. It's over with. Remember the good times, and you guys don't ever remember the bad because Kobe did no wrong for you. He raped a woman in Denver. You guys didn't blink an eye like it didn't happen. Who cares? He strapped your team, couldn't get any players anymore. You guys didn't give a shit. And then you guys sat there and talked about the trade, the Chris Paul trade, and blah, blah, blah. You had to give up Paul Gasol to give up that trade, to get that trade done. You're lucky the league didn't do it. You were done anyways, but you needed Paul Gasol. Kobe always needed a big, and Kobe's 5 titles, he was fortunate that he had the first and the second best bigs when he was winning titles. The NBA gifted him Paul Gasol. The NBA didn't know how good Marc Gasol was going to be when they traded him for Pau. Those were rights to Marc Gasol. But the Kobe lovers are going to say he was this and that. Let's look at the stats. The man shot 44% from the field. LeBron shoots almost 5% more. LeBron averages 2 more assists, maybe even 3. Probably 3 more rebounds a game. Where is Kobe better? Killer instinct? Yes, but like I told you, LeBron James' clutch points, clutch field goal percentage, all better than Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. So he just maybe didn't want to take the shot all the time. LeBron James doesn't want to take the shot. He wants to make the correct basketball play. Is it correct in your eyes? Of course not. Because you guys were used to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. That's not who LeBron James is. Anthony Edwards may be that because he's a ball hog as well. But that we'll wait and see. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. But if you like our content, please make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on all our social platforms and anywhere you can find your podcasts. All right, guys, we're about a month and a half away, maybe less. Actually, we're less than a month and a half away for your elections. Voting 2024, Donald J. Trump or Kamala Harris. So I was speaking to a young man last week, 23 years old. And, so you guys have it. Let me paint a picture for you. Lives at home, got laid off, didn't go to school. Okay. And talking to this kid, bright guy. And I said, how you doing? Oh, yeah, I just got laid off, etc. All right. What do you think about the elections? Oh, yeah, man, everything's fucked, man. But I said, you going to vote? I don't know. I can't do it. I can't see myself to vote for Donald Trump. And I said, well, buddy, listen, if you don't like the way things are going, the administration that's there is the same administration that's the other side against Trump. So you have to but I can't see myself voting for Donald Trump. So I'm not going to do it. So I said to him, you're part of the problem. And when there's people who can't see themselves voting for Donald Trump, you're not voting for Donald Trump. You're voting for your future, for yourself, for your gas prices, your groceries, your interest rates, etc. But if 5 million people think like you, or 6 million people, or 2 million people, that's going to sway a state. It's going to pull a district. Because it's not only voting for president, it's voting for your local officers, your local congressmen, your local controllers, etc. Those are the people that set the taxes in your cities. Why does your city pay sales tax 10.25% when this city here pays 9.25%? We have cities in other counties that are Republican counties that are paying 7.25% in California. But you go into LA County and you go into a city, the smaller cities that are run by Democrats in their local very small elections, and they're paying 10.25% of sales tax. So you guys understand, you spend $100, your taxes are $10.25. When you go to a city that's run by mostly Republicans, the difference is $3 difference. And that's just on 100. Imagine when you're buying a car or purchasing a home or etc. But mostly buying something expensive. Your vote matters. And people who don't want to go out and vote because they can't see themselves voting for Donald Trump are the problem. And in a year, when you're complaining again that you don't have any work, that things are too expensive, you will only be able to blame yourself. But you guys are so hung up on your feelings. Oh, and my feelings, and everyone should be equal. Everyone's not equal. LeBron James isn't equal to you. Taylor Swift isn't equal to you. They endorse that president or that candidate because they don't give a shit about you. Their money they can pay 48% in taxes and they're still millionaires. You can't pay 32% or you broke. You won't make enough to eat. That's why there's kids, and when you see kids as they get older, they're still living with their parents, 27, 28, 29 years old. Imagine going away to school for 3, 4, 5 years, spending your parents' money out there, and then you come back home, you don't have a job, you're not producing any money. Hey, but you know what? Your feelings aren't hurt. Everyone's equal. We love everyone. Babe, boys can compete against girls. Just pretend to be a girl. That's what you're voting for. You're voting for boys competing against your daughters in the future. You're voting for your gas, your groceries, your taxes, your interest rate, your home prices. That's what you're voting for. You're not voting for everyone to be included. Oh, it's because that's fine. Nobody gives a shit if you're a guy or girl. Nobody cares. Just don't come into the girl's bathroom when you're a 35-year-old man who thinks he's a girl. That's the problem. That's the issue. You fuck with people's kids. That's the biggest deal. The immigration part, that's also a major problem. People that aren't working, that are 23, 24, 25 years old, you went to college for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it was, and you don't have a job, and an immigrant's taking your job. Hey, but we should let everyone in. We should let everyone in the right way. The correct way. Oh, but they can seek asylum. Guess what? People from Mexico aren't running from anything. People from El Salvador, you're not running from anything. People who should be allowed to seek asylum in this country are North Koreans, Venezuelans, Cubans, some African countries where they don't have the basic human rights that you have here. Your brother and sister have iPhones that are fucking 8, 9 years old, and you take that shit for granted. And then you go out and march for countries like Palestine and Venezuela. You have no clue what's happening there. You have zero clue. And most of you out doing that are gay. Guess what, Palestinians? They don't want you. The Palestinians don't want you gays. Literally, they don't want you. That country, they don't vibe with the gays. Yet you're out here fucking getting arrested for them. They could give 3 fucks about you. Literally. And you're out there doing this shit. Why? Because your parents didn't kick your ass. And I guarantee you're still living at home with mommy and daddy. Kids at UCLA, Cal State, whatever the fuck, all these schools marching free Palestine for what? Leave them the fuck alone. They don't give a shit about you. Who gives a fuck? They're all the way on the other side of the world. They hate you. You're Americans. Literally. And you take this country for granted. Oh, we're a terrible country. Oh, we're a terrible country. You're walking around with a $1,000 phone. You have no clue what a terrible country is. Go live in Cuba for 3 months. Doctors make less than $50 a month there. Doctors, real fucking doctors. You can't even get a job at McDonald's here. And what you guys fail to understand is the Democrat way is to make you believe that they need you to help, that you need their help. You never need their help. Oh, they came and saved us and gave us $20 an hour to work at McDonald's. Guess what? A fucking Big Mac is probably like $13 now. Hey, but at least you're making 20. You guys are clueless because you don't earn money to make a living. You don't pay for shit. So you are clueless. Everyone who doesn't pay rent and lives with their parents, most of you are fucking clueless. A big number of you are clueless. Probably about 95%. You don't even know how much taxes they charge you from Spectrum. You have no clue. If you realize how much they charge, you'd be like, fuck, hold on. Let's fix this shit. What's going on? How can we fix it? Oh, well, that motherfucker, he don't need a job. I'm not voting for him. Get out there and vote. If you don't vote and you complain, you're part of the major problem. So I don't want to hear anybody complaining. Young people, 23-year-old from Dallas, big complainer, jobless complainer, not voting. Can't see himself voting for Donald. Softest generation coming. Jesus Christ. It's sick.
Did you see this weekend? So Donald Trump had went to the Georgia Vandy game, and Tim Walz had gone to the Michigan game, and you just saw the clips. Like the crowd went crazy when they showed Trump, and then Tim Walz. He's just nobody knew who he was, and the people who did know started booing.
Of course, but you see some of these kids. Oh, why am I voting? Why am I voting for Kamala? Oh, because she's black. Fuck does that even mean? She's not even that black. She's not even that black. She's like Indian and Jamaican and shit, and Jamaicans don't relate. They're not African Americans. They're fucking Jamaicans. You know who's African American? Elon Musk. Bro, people don't understand that. I was watching this guy the other day. He was in a lot of movies I've seen. He's a good actor, man. But he was born here, and I saw him on a. He goes, "Oh, his parents are Cuban," and he goes, "I'm black first." What's that? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? And he says, "Oh, I'm black first." And I said, "Bro, you're black first because you were born here, and you don't understand. You were. I guarantee you weren't raised in a Cuban household, because no Dominican born here that his parents are full blown fucking Dominican will say that he's black first. Have you heard the shit? I know black, motherfucker. Your skin is dark as fuck, but we know what you mean. We know you not black." Jamaicans, they're not African American. They don't want to be African. They're fucking Jamaican. They are Jamaican. It's a whole different thing. It's not even close. Like, you tell a Jamaican, "Oh, you black?" No, I'm not African American. I'm Jamaican. That's what it is. I'm Jamaican. They're African American. No, not that. And Kamala Harris, she's Jamaican and Indian, and definitely not African American. She might have some ancestors down there somewhere, but this guy's, "Oh well, we all came from Africa. It's just our ancestors were dropped off in different areas." Yeah, but African American is different than a Cuban who's black, a Colombian who's black, and a Dominican who's black, a Puerto Rican who's black, a Brazilian who's black. Is totally different. It's not even the same thing. It's not even close to the same thing. So don't relate that. They're not the same. And Kamala Harris, when you see these videos, what has she accomplished? She has accomplished shit. Nobody, oh no, well, don't ask me that. Oh, don't ask me that. It's like, listen, these never Trumper people, they're the ones that are a problem in this country. Those are them. She has zero issues. We need to look at issues. That's the problem in this country. Listen, the main issue, leave the fucking kids alone, number one. Number two, the immigration problem is out of control, obviously. Out of control. I'm not saying build a wall. Put more border patrol. Do something. Don't just fucking let them walk in. Leave their ass in Mexico because Mexico's letting them get there. That's the thing that you guys don't understand. Mexico's letting them get there. All right? And I know a lot of people that bring people over across the border. Guess who they're bringing? A shitload of Chinese. You know why? Because the Chinese are paying $50,000 a clip. And all you idiots don't want to believe it. But go out there, get a fucking guy undercover, find yourself a coyote. If you want, come to me. I'll show you about 10 of them. All right? And watch them, and you will see that those motherfuckers are bringing in the Chinese $50K a clip to get them to Mexico and then across the border and into Alhambra, into West Covina. They're coming. It's everything that's coming. But they're paying money, and you guys are clueless. Oh, that shit's not true. It's 100% true. It is 1,000% true. And all these guys that are going undercover and making videos and all that, you're not watching them because it's a lie. Oh, and what's wrong with immigration? Your kids won't have jobs, honey. Your kids won't have jobs. Your soft-ass kids will not have jobs in 5 years. And your kids that are in high school that are softer than your college students, that you're softer than your 22-year-old, your 15-year-old, or your 14-year-old that's softer than him, that motherfucker not going to have a job either. Because all these people that are coming across the border are going to take those jobs because 95% of those people that come across that border come here for a better life and to work. That's what they come for. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say they all come and kill people and do all eat cats and all that shit. I'm not saying none of that shit. I'm telling you, most of them come here to work. In the line of business that I'm in, I see them. They're my clients. They're my customers. I see the hard work that they put in. That's what they come to this country to do. Do they do it illegally? Yes. 1,000%. But with those 95% that are coming in, that come here to work, the other 5% are coming to fuck shit up, bring some drugs over, send some kids over to hopefully get the parents here eventually or whatever. There's 5% that are maybe bad. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's more. But I know a ton of those people come here to work and they will take your jobs. Your jobs that you don't want to do, your gardening, your painting, your field work, factories, shit that you don't want to do, they're going to do it. And I see people that have been in this country for 6, 7 months, 8 months, a year, and they come to me, they don't even have an ID. They don't have a California state-issued ID, but you know what they do have? A Social Security that says permitted for work only. Something along those lines. I don't remember exactly, but that's basically what it is. A Social Security for work permit. That's what they have. They can't even get a fucking driver's license because they don't know how to read. And they don't even know how to read their own language sometimes. Trust me, they're my customers. They come here to work. And they're going to steal your jobs. And the softies that are 22, 23, still living with mommy, and their little brothers and sisters that are 14, 15, that will at least, hey, my friend Jimmy, he's going to get his wiener removed in a year or in 6 months because he feels that he's a girl. He'll be fine. He'll be okay. That shit's not okay. You want to chop off your wiener? Do it after 18. Do it after 18. You do whatever you want. Want to add tits in a wiener? Remove a wiener, add tits, whatever it is. You can do it. But that is what you get when you vote for a Democrat. Is 1,000%. Taylor Swift is the biggest hypocrite bitch on this planet. Okay? She sits there and she tells you about global warming and save the environment and blah, blah, blah. And last February, for the Super Bowl, this woman flew from Japan to Vegas on a private jet, probably wasting more emissions than you and I combined for the next 10 years on one flight, but she's saving the planet. The other bitch, the Greta Thunberg or whatever the fuck, flying all over the planet on a private jet. You want to fix the planet? Put that bitch on a fucking sailboat. Sail all around the world saving the planet. Not on a private jet, honey. But you guys don't get it. It's one thing, oh no, it's this, it's that. Trump's a racist. Trump wasn't a racist when he was hanging out with Muhammad Ali. Trump wasn't a racist when he was giving awards, when he was hanging with Don King. He wasn't a rapist when he was, sorry, not a rapist. He's not a rapist. But he wasn't a racist. Yes, he was a rapist. Karen. So, he wasn't a racist when he's out donating money to Hillary Clinton. He was a Democrat. And then you know what he realized? That the Democrats fell off the end. The Bill Clinton Democrats are not the same as these Democrats. It's not the same thing. Bill still supports them because he has no choice. That's where they feed the family from. That's where they get paid. Hey, Bill, show up here. Try not to sniff any girls. But hey, and put any cigars in any. Yeah, or fuck any interns. But hey, we're going to pay you $5 million to come speak. That's what he does. Those are not the same Democrats of Bill Clinton in 1992. These Democrats, they want your kids to think for themselves and be whoever the fuck they want to be at 7 years old, 8 years old. I want to be a girl. I want to be a cat. I want to be a fucking dog. Soon you're going to have 9-year-olds getting fucking neutered because they think they're a fucking dog. You're out of control. Your kids don't know shit. Okay, they can't even wipe their own ass at fucking 10 years old. And you want to sit here and think, oh no, it's because little Billy thinks he's Patricia this week. Listen, honey, teach that kid how to wipe his ass first and shake his wiener so he doesn't piss all over the toilet seat. And then maybe we could talk about giving him a cell phone. But we're definitely not cutting off his wiener until he can decide if he's going to use it or not. And that's the problem that we have with the Democrats. Right there. That's number one. And number two, number three, and number four. You're worried about abortion? Who gives a fuck about abortion? I don't give a fuck. I wish Donald Trump actually came out on stage and said, I don't give a fuck about abortion. Let every state do whatever the fuck it is they want to do about abortion. You want to kill your baby? That's your problem. It's just, it is what it is. I'm okay with that. You want to get abortion? I'm not okay with you getting abortion 7 months down the line. That's definitely I'm not okay with. But if you're in California, California says you can get an abortion till whatever. You're 20 weeks, which is about 5 months. If they say it's okay, fuck it. That's your problem. That's not mine. I don't care. And Donald Trump should come out and say that because you guys don't understand that. He already said he left it up to the states. But no, you need Roe v. Wade and this and that overturned, which all was created on a lie. We saw this old, lesbian-looking woman, Roe or Wade or whatever the fuck she was, come out a couple years ago and said it was a lie. It was all created on a lie. But most of the shit that the Democrats create on is a lie. It is a lie. It is your imagination. They want to put things in your mind. That's why they control how many media channels? 4, 5, CNN, ABC, CBS. How many do they control? They want to poison you. They poisoned you with COVID. Oh no, you gotta wear a mask and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Not me. I didn't fall for that bullshit. I didn't close my business not one day. And any place that asked me to put on a mask, guess what I did? I never went back to that place. Never went back. Restaurant asked me that I went there and they asked me to put on a mask. I never went back. Never again. And they lost a lot of money. I'm a big dude. And that's it. I don't need to put on a mask. They're scaring you into that. All of a sudden, COVID's just gone and vanished. Oh, no, it's because there's so many people vaccinated. Yeah, if we look at most of the people that are dying from COVID still, those are the people that were vaccinated. And that you can look up on the CDC or whatever the fuck it is. But hey, you know what? Fox News might have said it, or Newsweek, or somebody on the internet, and we might not believe it. Do your research. A lot of you don't do research. The only people, if you see a Democrat that's flipped to a Republican, it's because they did their research. They realized that the lies that were being told to you about Donald Trump were ridiculous. They didn't make any sense. They were completely they were stupid. Now, if we look at Donald Trump's 4 years, did women lose rights? Like Steph Curry says, I'm voting because I have daughters and my wife and I need my women's rights. What rights did you lose? He literally just told you this debate. The state can do whatever the fuck they want. And in California, hell, they might let you kill your baby after it's born. Fuck it, I don't want an ugly motherfucker. Dump him. Who knows? Because that's the point we're getting to with these Democrats. So Steph Curry comes out and he says that, and we got to believe Steph Curry. Steph Curry, who makes $60 million a year. And Steph Curry pays 49% in taxes or 48% in taxes. So he's still got $30 million and you don't have a fucking job. Think about that. Steph Curry doesn't care about you. Taylor Swift doesn't care about you. You are just a fan to them. What do they know that we know? What do we care if they endorse them? What do I care that Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris? Or Anuel endorsed Donald Trump? I don't care. What do they know about politics that I don't? Are they a politician? No. They're just rich fucking people. That because they have a ton of followers and a gift, a talent to do whatever it is they do, we're gonna follow. Steph Curry voted for Kamala, so he says that women are gonna lose their rights. Did you lose any rights from 2016 to 2020? I don't think so. Not that I remember, but I don't know. Women, did you lose any rights? No. But the common sense party is the right, and common sense for the left, it doesn't click. Like there's so many things that are just common sense, and it's like, oh wait, but that's just common sense. Why do we not have common sense? Oh no, because Trump's a racist or a sexist, or he grabbed a woman by the pussy. Like, he didn't grab her by the pussy. He might have said it. But listen, if you've ever been in a men's locker room, Democrats, so you've probably never been in that, because I'm talking real men, not women that are men and not men that, real men. Men don't talk about that. That's why NBA guys and MLB guys have 3 and 4 wives while they're on the road, or 3 or 4 girlfriends when they're on the road. Or they'll say, hey, let's go to this bar and maybe we pick up, because it's locker room talk that men have. And that's all it was. It was locker room talk between 2 or 3 men, and one of them turned out to be a Democrat and ratted him out. So at the end of the day, Donald Trump is not a racist, and the right uses common sense, and the left, all they're worried about is letting you know we're going to take money from the rich, and your kids can do whatever they want in school, and you can kill your babies up to 6 months or 7 months or whatever it is. That's what the left is about. Them taxing the rich, which at the end of the day, when you tax the rich and the big corporations At the end of the day, when you see down the line in 6, 8, 9, 10 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, that tax plan of Kamala Harris to tax the billionaires and tax the corporation, that will create less jobs, less investments for those people because you're taking more of their money. And what are you taking more of their money for? To tell them you're giving it to the poor or to load your pockets? The way all you politicians have on the left and on the right, taking money from this country where we have homeless all over the place. We have an immigration problem. We have an inflation problem. And you're giving it to Ukraine and Israel. Defend Israel. Don't give them money. Send your fucking military. Send your military down there and end it. Finish it. You want to help Ukraine? Sit down with Putin and make it right. Put your foot down. But you're not going to put your foot down because you're funneling money. You're funneling money for the government through Ukraine. For all you people. Every single one of you in Congress, left and right, are taking money. The Senate, I'm sure it's probably about 80% of you that are taking money from all of this. And Donald Trump is the only savior because he's not a real politician. He can give 3 fucks about being politically correct. He don't give a shit. That's why people relate to him and people like him. Because we feel that he's someone similar to what we are. A businessman who tells it the way it is and gets straight to the point and wants this country better. He's always said that. He said it sitting there with Oprah on the couch in the studio in Chicago. Will you ever run for president? He said, if I ever feel the need that this country needs me to run for president, I'll run for president. And he ran and he won. So at the end of the day, go out and vote. Whoever you're going to vote for, just go out and vote. If you're going to complain, go out and vote. If you're going to complain and not vote, keep that shit to yourself because we don't want to hear.